right, guys, so now I'm about to take you down the rabbit hole of what is really going on. Basically, how everyone involved here is essentially strapped to a figurative bomb. And it's how they got here is a bunch of petty power trips. Real inside baseball. Home run! I mean, I have all the tea. First and foremost, you have to understand the PR players involved, because that is crucial to everything that has happened here, okay? So I'm going to show you this. I put together this map for you, like a psychopath, okay? So this is the PR firms. Jones Work PR, which is headed up by Stephanie Jones, and under Stephanie Jones was a woman who was partner named Jennifer Abel, and they were representing Wayfarer Studios and Justin Baldoni at the beginning of this movie. Stephanie Jones is apparently the #1 PR person in Hollywood. She's also like a throwback to the culture where people want to be like devils, wear Prada. She's known to be mean.
I'm so sorry, Miranda. I actually did confirm last night.
Details of your incompetence do not interest me.
Then you have Vision PR. That's Leslie Sloan's company, and she reps Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. And then on the outside over there to the right, you have a woman named Melissa Nathan, who you've seen in this lawsuit. I could not find any photos of her other than that one, which was in the New York Times. But she was not involved. She's the crisis PR person that comes in later, okay? Here is what then happens, and this is very crucial. Jennifer Abel puts in her notice on July 10th of 2024. She tenders her resignation and says, Steph, I'm leaving you. And apparently, you are not allowed to leave Stephanie Jones. You don't get out of there unscathed. And she just says, nothing personal. I'm not happy. They've released the emails. I just don't want to be at this company anymore. But the problem is that Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer don't want Jennifer to leave. They're like, we want to go with you, because they've established some sort of a relationship with her. Okay. She is also friends with Melissa Nathan. Like, they had developed a friendship over the year, I guess, like small world of PR. That's why the two of them are now being listed in this lawsuit against Wayfarer by Stephanie Jones. And they try to keep her happy, Stephanie Jones. And she's just like, you know what? I've prayed on this. I want to move on and do my own thing. And Wayfarer and Justin Baldoni say, you know what? We're out too. Like, we're going to go with her and wait for her to establish her own thing, which she didn't do, I don't think, until this year. I couldn't find it. Anyways, we're going to move them over now, because in Stephanie's mind, she's just been stabbed in the back by one of her employees. Stephanie Jones is married to Jason Hodes. Now you're going, Candace, I don't know who Jason Hodes is. Jason Hodes is a senior partner at WME, okay? William Morris and Endeavor, the people that dropped Justin Baldoni. Jason Hodes is a senior partner. That is him next to Tom Brady. Why? Because Tom Brady is his client. That's how big he is, okay? I don't know. I'm not suggesting that there was collusion between a married couple, but I am saying that I collude with my husband because we're a married couple. That's what I'm saying, okay? On August 21st, she calls Jennifer 2 days before she's supposed to leave amicably and forces her to hand over her phone, okay? She says that she's going to confiscate it, and I'll read you directly from the lawsuit. She says, on August 21st, 2024, 2 days before her last day, Abel pulls up to the Jones Work office in Beverly Hills. There, she is confronted by a physically imposing security guard, a lawyer sitting at a conference table covered in documents, an IT professional, and Jones's chief of staff, who had flown in unannounced from New York. These people are nuts. I mean, apart from, because somebody just quit their job without people being crazy, like, they're just demented in Hollywood. Anyways, it goes on and says, apart from Jones's chief of staff, Abel had never seen any of them before. After being ushered into the conference room, Abel sees that the security guard is posted just outside its doors. Sorry to laugh, but like, they're all nuts. They're all insane in Hollywood. They don't know they're insane though. Blocking the exit. In a menacing and cold tone, the attorney points to documents and tells Abel to review and sign them. This is what I would imagine it's like leaving a cult. The attorney claims that Jones Work believes she had proprietary information on her personal laptop and will likely have grounds to sue if Abel does not allow them access. So it goes on, and she basically says, like, please, I've had this number since I was a kid. She's shell-shocked. She wants to get out of there. She doesn't want to sign the document. She doesn't have anybody representing, telling her like that she had to hand this over, apparently. The attorney then presents Abel with a list of approximately 10 documents, accuses her of having accessed them and stolen them. Abel denies having done so. The IT specialist conducts a search of her laptop, which again turns up nothing. So they think that she's colluding. I don't know what they think is going on, but you have to imagine that at this same time, Blake is starting to get bad press, okay? So I have seen this happen before. I kid you not, okay? When somebody leaves a company, People get kooky with their conspiracy theories about who they're potentially colluding with, okay? It's happened to me. And you really are like, hey, man, like, I just want to leave this company. And they're going, nope, this can't be it. You must be doing something. You must be doing something behind the scenes to try to spite me, because why would you want to leave me? I'm so great. This is like the Hollywood psychotic mentality. So they're going through her stuff. They're not finding anything in her stuff. They take her phone, and this is how, magically, Ryan and Blake end up with these text messages that they later doctor, which we are able to see in the full context later, that the New York Times later doctors to make people think that they were plotting against Blake Lively, when in reality, they were just laughing at the fact that as the crisis PR person, Melissa Nathan, and as the main PR person now, because they're walking with her, that they actually didn't have to do any work because people just didn't like Blake Lively. So it's like Steph from Jones' work, Steph Jones's narcissism. She can't see clearly, and she just thinks she's being plotted against. And she's had a rough year because there's a bunch of employees that are starting to speak about how awful she is behind the scenes. And then you couple that with Ryan and Blake's a narcissism, and you've got essentially Hollywood types that truly suffer from this God complex. Let me tell you what Steph does not know, okay? Because when I got this, I was going, okay, this case is going to get insane. Because they were being crazy early on in 2023, somebody, and I don't know who the person was, okay, somebody advised everyone to record everything. Somebody had a gut instinct and said, we need to record everything, because they were already being accused of things that weren't true, right? Ryan and Blake are insane. They're saying things that didn't happen. She's saying, like, he said sexy on set. He's like, I said sexy on set because you've said sexy on set, and this is how you discussed wardrobe with me, so I thought it was okay. And like they already can see which way the wind is blowing, okay? So I don't know who gave this advice. I mean, they said record everything. So this is the reason why she didn't think the scene was recorded, or she didn't think that it was on, like they were catching the audio, and they have it, okay? This advice maybe came from Sony, maybe it came from the lawyers, maybe it came from PR, maybe it came from Steve Sarowitz, maybe it came from Justin Baldoni's wife, who said start recording everything, okay? Who knows? But because the writing was on the wall early on, they wanted to leave nothing to Ryan and Blake's crazy ass, wild Game of Thrones, dragging, breathing imaginations. And they started recording everything. And I'm talking conversations with execs. Everything is recorded.
I live in Denmark. We share a border with Germany. Now, if someone illegally crossed the border from Germany to Denmark, and if the Danish police catches you at the border, or a day, a week, 2 years later in the country, they will deport you. Every country does that. I don't even understand what the fuck is controversial about what Trump is doing.
Well, what else did we learn from the filing? Well, we learned that at the Deadpool after party, Ryan went and found a William Morris Endeavor. Now, that's the biggest agency. Everybody's under them. That's the one that Justin Baldoni got dropped from. And told that executive that they were working with a sexual predator, referring to Justin Baldoni. It says, Lively, Reynolds, and other members of the film cast attended the premiere for Deadpool and Wolverine. And just them having invited these people is basically, I view Ryan as like an infestation. Like, it's the only way I can say it. If he wants to go after you, he infests himself into every area of your life. And he did this Justin Baldoni. He's like, who are your friends? Okay. Who owns the production company? Who owns the next movie script? I am going to infest myself everywhere. I'm going to be doing your movie premiere. I'm going to be doing promos and making fun of you. Right? I'm going to put myself in the end credits. Like, this is like psychotic behavior. Okay.
Oh, you crazy.
Going back to what they said was mentioned at this party, at the after party, Wayfair was informed that Reynolds approached a senior executive at WME and expressed his deep disdain for Baldoni, going as far as to suggest that the agency is working with a sexual predator. Okay? Ryan, personally, and you can take this to the bank, I'm telling you right now, this is a fact. This has been confirmed to me. He tried to get Justin Baldoni dropped from WME multiple times before they did, okay? Never gonna give you up, never
gonna let you down.
So all of those articles that came out when Justin got dropped and they were denying that Ryan Reynolds had anything to do with it, those were PR teams that were working overtime behind the scenes, likely their PR team. Leslie Sloan, it's not true. No, this never. That is a fact. Like I said, I'm getting leaks right now that someone inside of WME confirmed that Ryan Reynolds was going around trying to get him dropped. Okay, and he didn't get it. They didn't do it until the lawsuit was filed. Then they immediately dropped him.
Of the FBI. Who does the director of the FBI work for, Mr. Patel?
Senator, thank you for that question. The immediate report for the director of the FBI is into the Office of the Deputy Attorney General. Then that report is taken into the Office of the Attorney General and ultimately the White House and the chain of command there.
So the FBI works for the White House?
No, the FBI is a member of the Department of Justice and has been the long-standing application.
And who does the Department of Justice work for?
They're in the executive branch, as all members do at the White House.
Attorney General Bondi gave a different answer when I asked her the same question, that they work for the Constitution and the American people. President Trump's made clear in public statements he wants to use the FBI to persecute political adversaries. He's publicly said that folks ranging from Liz Cheney to Adam Kinzinger to former Vice President Harris should be investigated and criminally prosecuted. If President Trump were to order you to open an investigation into any of these individuals, let's say Vice President Harris, would you?
Senator, this question speaks directly to my ability to leave political bias and allow independent behavior to be the only guiding light. As a public defender, I learned that in the harshest of arenas. And any law enforcement investigation, if I'm confirmed at the FBI, will only be launched on the following qualification: a factual, articulable, legal basis to do so. The president has said publicly that he will allow the FBI to remain independent, and I have said as much as well.
So if FBI agents brought to you a factual, legal basis, predication, and you are about to refer it to a prosecutor, and you get a call from the White House saying, don't proceed. This is a major donor. This is someone close to the president. This is inappropriate.
He's basically sitting there and he's asking the same question. Yeah. Are you going to put me in prison?
Are you going to lock us up?
Will I be safe?
If I vote you,
can you please confirm? That's what he's sitting there doing.
Can you confirm if we vote you as head of the FBI, you will not come lock us up?
That's exactly what's going on right here. I might. Oh man, let's keep going, guys. Let's listen to this.
What would you do?
Simple. I think you answered it partially in your question. The line agents, the brick agents who are trained to bring investigations on behalf of the FBI will make that decision-making process, and they will only have my full support so long as it upholds absolutely every value of the Constitution, and that's it.
So your predecessor, I went back and looked, and I asked the same questions of Director Comey and Director Wray. Director Wray, quoting former Attorney General Bell, said you should be willing to resign if necessary over conduct if you're pressed to engage in it that's unethical, illegal, or unconstitutional. If pressed by the president, would you resign?
Senator, my answer is simply I would never do anything unconstitutional or unlawful, and I never have.
Let me try to put all this in context for you. I like omelets. I mean, I really like omelets. I could eat an omelet at every meal. I like omelets better than sex. Not really, but you get the point. I like omelets. You can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs. Now, President Trump ran for office saying, I'm going to review every single penny in the federal budget. Now, how are you going to review the spending in the federal budget without reviewing the spending? And that's what Mr. Musk is doing. Now, many of my Democratic colleagues and some of the tofu-eating wokerati at the USAID are screaming like they're part of a prison riot because they don't want us reviewing the spending. But that's all Mr. Musk is doing, and he's finding some pretty interesting stuff. To my friends who are upset, I would say with respect, call somebody who cares. They better get used to this. It's USAID today. It's going to be Department of Education tomorrow.
I want you to be mine again, baby. I know my lifestyle is driving you crazy. I cannot.
Listen to what Martha Stewart had to say on this random game show.
What celebrities would be the most fun to hang out with?
He's probably on the list just because he covers himself up in his movies and you don't see his face. Ryan Reynolds, is he one of those? And you want to know something? He's not so funny in real life.
Really?
No, he's not so funny. He's very serious. No, Taylor, then I would do Snoop, and then I would take Ryan off it, and I would put in somebody else.
I'm so surprised that Ryan Reynolds isn't funny. This is like a shocker to me. I see him
he's a good
walking up
actor.
and down our neighborhood all the time.
He can act funny. But he isn't funny. Maybe he can get to be funny again.
I'm so disappointed, actually.
I'm going to get in trouble. He's my neighbor. He's my neighbor.
So she was spilling. She was letting people know that this whole persona, nice guy, funny guy, is an act. And that's not who he is behind the scenes. And I think he is a very disturbed, angry individual. I was also positing with my team something else that, and this is, by the way, this is not anybody insider leaking this, but I find it interesting that one thing that the public hasn't discussed enough is the Scarlett Johansson piece. So if he has this narcissistic, abusive tendencies, which I believe everything he did was narcissistic and abusive. We saw that in Deadpool, even against Justin Baldoni. So we don't even have to imagine what he does to Blake Lively at home or anything like that. But if he's already publicly admitted that he has these control issues and they stem from the fact that his father was always screaming, and we now know that Ryan's also a screamer, so he basically just became his dad. That whole little scene about like his father and unresolved issues, it's looking like you might have just become who you allege your father was. He sat down, I think it was with the New York Times or whoever it was, and said that he developed these control issues, like he's very controlling because he felt the only way that he could get his dad not to scream in the house was to make sure everything was like within his control. Okay, so that's why Ryan is the way that he is. And when you apply that to Scarlett Johansson, the limited things that she said about her relationship when she was married to him only for 2 years, okay? Scarlett Johansson was instantly A-list. She was at the top of her game. I was going through all of her stuff. And what's funny is his whole relationship with like the bromance between him and Hugh Jackman registers to me as weird. I don't think it's cute now. I think it's really weird.
No diddy.
And what's funny is the way that they started this like bromance was actually they didn't quite like each other because Ryan Reynolds was holding on to, and they both admitted this publicly, to a comment that Hugh Jackman made, because when Hugh Jackman was an A-list star, so was Scarlett Johansson, and they starred next to each other in this movie. It was called The Prestige, and this is like around the time that she's with Ryan Reynolds, okay? And Ryan Reynolds was jealous. Ryan Reynolds was controlling. It had always been alleged that this was about Ryan Reynolds. And Scarlett Johansson is not Blake Lively, okay? She's known to be, and I can tell you this because I worked at a firm, we did movies, and I literally met Scarlett Johansson. She's known to be very bright. She is known to be very classy, and she's known to be very kind. And so I get this sense that if you're that kind of a control person and Scarlett Johansson after 2 years goes, peace, I'm out of this marriage, you will never let that go, because now we know he holds a grudge. He was mad at Hugh Jackman because of something that Hugh Jackman said to him when he was married to or engaged to Scarlett Johansson. He said something like, I don't want you doing anything to my girl or whatever, like, something that like an uncle might say, like protective of Scarlett Johansson. And Ryan held on to this for years. And her career has always been bigger, has always been greater. She's the highest paid actress in Hollywood, Scarlett Johansson. And I think someone like him would still be bothered by this, even though they, amicable breakup, it's fine. She doesn't care. She's remarried. I think he still does care to try to one up her. And what I found interesting and why I'm bringing this up right now is that in 2023, in December, it was announced that Scarlett Johansson was doing a movie that's now called Eleanor the Great with Wayfarer and Sony Studios. Okay? He would have known about this. He would have found out about this probably before the public found out. So if we found out in December of 2023 that this was happening, and then it was announced again about Wayfarer and Sony Studios, did that set him off in a weird way? It was her directorial debut, the first time she was going to be directing a film. And here's the headline here: Scarlett Johansson to make her directorial debut with Eleanor the Great. I'm just wondering. I'm not going to say anything else, but I find that piece to be compelling about his character. I think ScarJo may have been the one who got away, and he wanted someone who was like dumber and more basic behind her. And by all accounts, he got it.
Boom. Roasted.
Not to disrespect Blake Lively, but she's just not known to be that bright, and I think that allows him to more easily control her.
So there was an incident where a piece of ice went through the next door neighbors. The neighbor next door saw the ice fall from the sky, and I don't know if you can tell, but there's a little bit of ice. There's ice over here. Fire department